Imagine two cars pulling up to a red light. One is American steel, born from the streets of Detroit, raw, aggressive, with a growl that makes the ground tremble. The other is a legend forged in Dearborn, a name so powerful that just hearing it makes grown men emotional. The light turns green, and for 60 years this battle has never stopped. Welcome to GearTales, and today we're diving into the greatest muscle car war ever fought, the Chevrolet Camaro versus the Ford Mustang. Buckle up, because by the end of this video, you will see these two machines in a completely different light, and you'll never look at a muscle car the same way again.
To understand this war, you have to go back to 1964. Ford did something nobody expected. They took a simple, affordable platform, wrapped it in long hood, short deck styling, gave it a name inspired by a wild horse, and priced it at under $2,500. The Ford Mustang didn't just launch a car, it launched an entire category. They called it the pony car. In its very first year, Ford sold over 400,000 Mustangs. People were sleeping in dealerships overnight just to get one. It was a cultural earthquake. General Motors watched this happen and felt the ground shake under their feet. Chevrolet's response took 3 years. 3 years of engineering, secrecy, and pressure. When journalists asked what the new car's name meant, a Chevrolet executive famously said, "A Camaro is a small, vicious animal that eats Mustangs." That single sentence tells you everything about the intention behind this car. The 1967 Camaro arrived not as a product, it arrived as a declaration of war. And the war was immediate, intense, and personal. Both cars targeted the same buyer, young, ambitious, American, someone who worked Monday through Friday and lived for the weekend, someone who wanted to feel something when they turned the ignition key. But they offered completely different personalities. The Mustang was the popular kid in school, charming, stylish, accessible. The Camaro was the kid who said nothing in class but showed up to every race and never lost. Through the late 1960s, the horsepower numbers climbed to almost absurd levels. The Mustang Shelby GT500 was pushing 355 horsepower. Chevrolet responded with the Camaro Z28, a high-revving, track-focused machine that became legendary almost overnight. These weren't just cars anymore. They were statements. They were identities. You were either a Mustang person or a Camaro person, and that choice said something about who you were. Then came the 1970s, and the war hit a wall. The oil crisis, new emissions regulations, and insurance costs killed the muscle car era almost overnight. Horsepower numbers plummeted. The Camaro and Mustang both survived, but they were shadows of their former selves. The Mustang famously went through what fans call its darkest period, transformed into a smaller, weaker car that barely deserved the name. The Camaro held on slightly better in terms of performance image, but even it was a fraction of what it had been. Yet both survived, and that survival matters because it tells you something about what these cars meant to people. They weren't just transportation, they were symbols. You don't keep a symbol alive through rational thinking, you keep it alive through passion. The 1980s brought a slow recovery. The Camaro IROC Z became a poster car for an entire generation, literally. If you grew up in the 80s in the United States, Sweden, or the UK, there was a very good chance one of those iconic posters was on your bedroom wall. Meanwhile, the Mustang found its footing again with the 5.0-liter V8, and suddenly the streets of America had a soundtrack again. But the most dramatic chapter of this war came in the 1990s, and it nearly ended everything. General Motors did the unthinkable. In 2002, they discontinued the Camaro, just stopped making it. The official reason was low sales and high production costs, but enthusiasts across the world felt it like a physical loss. Forums went dark with mourning, petition campaigns started. A piece of American automotive history had apparently been buried. Ford, to their credit, never stopped.
The Mustang continued through every decade without a single break in production, making it, to this day, one of the longest continuously produced nameplates in automotive history. When the Camaro went away, it left a strange silence in the muscle car world. The rivalry was over, and strangely, even Mustang fans felt something was missing, because a champion without a rival isn't really a champion at all. Then, in 2009, Chevrolet brought the Camaro back. The reveal was one of the most emotional moments in modern automotive history. The design was a direct tribute to the 1969 Camaro, aggressive, wide, unmistakably muscular. It was as if General Motors had gone back in time, grabbed the soul of the original car, and injected it into a modern machine. The response was overwhelming. People cried at auto shows, grown men standing in front of a car with tears in their eyes. And just like that, the war was back on. The modern era of this rivalry is arguably the most technically sophisticated chapter yet. The sixth-generation Camaro, particularly the ZL1 and the incredible track-focused 1LE package, pushed performance numbers that would have seemed like science fiction to the engineers who built the originals. We're talking about a Camaro ZL1 producing 650 supercharged horsepower, a car that could lap the Nürburgring in under 7 minutes and 30 seconds, a muscle car doing what supercars used to do. Ford answered with the Shelby GT500, 760 horsepower, a carbon fiber track package, and a 0 to 60 time that competes with cars costing 3 times as much. The numbers had become almost incomprehensible. But beyond the numbers, the character of each car remained true to its roots. The Mustang still had that accessible, emotional quality, the feeling that this car was made for everyone who loves driving. The Camaro was still the sharper, more focused, almost obsessive performance machine. There's something worth understanding about what each of these cars represents culturally, especially when you look at them from Sweden or the UK, markets where American muscle cars are objects of pure fascination. In Europe, these cars are mythological. They represent a version of freedom that doesn't really exist over here. Wide open highways, no speed limits in the imagination, the idea that a car can be as big and loud and unapologetic as you want it to be. When a Camaro or a Mustang rolls down a street in Stockholm or London, people stop and look, not because it's the fastest car on the road, but because it feels like it came from another world. And that might be the greatest achievement of both these cars. They transcended their origins. They became ideas.
Now, if you had to choose one, which would it be? And this is where it gets genuinely difficult, because the answer depends entirely on who you are. The Mustang is heritage. It's the car that started everything, that never gave up, that survived every crisis and came back stronger every single time. It has more racing history, more cultural touchpoints, more moments in film and music and popular culture than almost any other vehicle ever made. The bullet chase, gone in 60 seconds, the sound of Steve McQueen's 390 V8 echoing through the streets of San Francisco. That sound is in the DNA of the Mustang, and nothing can take it away. The Camaro is hunger. It's the car that was created specifically to destroy a rival and then spent 60 years trying to do exactly that. Every generation of Camaro has been more aggressive, more performance-focused, more obsessed with being better than the car across the line. And there's something deeply compelling about that kind of single-minded intensity. The Camaro never wanted to be liked by everyone. It wanted to be loved by the right people. Both of these machines share something that almost no modern car can claim. They make you feel things. Not just the acceleration, not just the exhaust note, not just the visual drama of the design. They make you feel something when you look at them. Something about freedom, about speed, about the particular kind of joy that comes from a machine that was built with genuine passion rather than pure efficiency.
The muscle car war between Chevrolet and Ford is not just automotive history, it is American history. It is the story of two companies, two philosophies, Two completely different visions of what a performance car should be, locked in a battle that has lasted longer than most human relationships. And unlike most wars, this one has no real casualties, only winners. Because every generation of this rivalry has pushed both cars to be better, faster, more dramatic, and more extraordinary than they would have been without the other. The Camaro and the Mustang need each other. They always have. And as long as one of them exists, the other will rise to meet it. That's not just a rivalry, that's a love story written in horsepower. This has been GearTales, where every car has a story worth telling. If this video moved something in you, you know what to do. See you on the road.